Hello everyone, my name is Leo DonLeon and I'm an MTT coach of the Academy of Poker. Today I want to make a quick hand review of one of my students' deep runs. His nickname is Sportic and he managed to finish the first event of Monster Series with the buy-in of $5, and the prize for the first place was a little bit more than $2K. If you want to win like him or you want just to play like him, then you can start your education from our group course, which is called Up the Game, where you can increase your gaming skills. And if you want to apply, just hit the link in the description and maybe in the nearest future we'll work together. But let's move back to the hands and we'll review today only the final table hands and only the hands where my student has participated. So let's start. First hand, Jack 5 off suited. I think that on the final table versus huge stack, we should be folding with that hand, and I don't like that open limp. Probably it is the weakest Jack off that we can afford ourselves to limp here, but because of the final table, it seems like we have to fold. And we get punished, yeah. Next hand, ace 9 off, where we decide to call pre-flop. I think that in that situation our opponent with really huge stack should be opening almost, I think, maybe 40% of hands, and he would call really narrow versus our shove for 20 big blinds. So I think that we could shove in that situation, but let's check it using the IC miser. Let's work with that situation. First, we need to calculate Nash equilibrium, and program says that our opponent should raise almost 45% of hands. Probably he could raise even more because of his stack size. And how often should he call? I'm not sure that I'm not sure that he would call with low pairs, with weak offsuited aces, with king jack suited. I think we need to decrease it. Maybe something like that. And in that situation, probably we can shove a lot. Yeah, almost every two hands, just because he opens a lot and he calls really narrowly. So in that situation, we could shove, but we decide to call. And we cannot do anything here just because our stack size is really low and we cannot do anything versus cheap leader, even despite we have backdoors, flush backdoor, straight backdoor, but still we should give up. Next hand is Jack off suited, easy open shove and nothing happens. King 7 off should be shoved again. We can check it again using IC miser. Calculate Nash equilibrium, and according to Nash equilibrium we can shove here almost 55% of hands, and it depends really on our opponent's calling range. Let's look on it. And program says that he should call with such hands, and I don't think that our opponent would call in a big tournament like this one, because it is the first event of Monster Series, and I think that his calling range would be narrower, and because of it, I think that we can shove even more hands. Yeah, again, almost any two hands. We shoved and our opponent folded. Okay. Ace 10 off, again easy shove. Double, wow, lucky flop for us. We doubled up. Cool. Next, King Queen suited. Obvious raise pre-flop. And not so obvious, we decide to check behind on such situation. And to learn how to play in such spots, you need to use some software as Flopzilla or even Simple Post Flop, and we work on it with my students on my individual lessons, just because it is too difficult for group lessons. And if you're interested, you can contact our manager using their Skype. You can find their Skype in the description of that video. We hit a queen on turn. I think we can make a value bet here. We don't have two streets of value, but at least one we can, because now he would call with his weaker tens, maybe flush draws, maybe some gut shots, so we have to bet right now. And I like that size, because he has really huge stack. And probably if he had an ace, he would lead on turn. And he folded. Okay, it's not a big deal for us, but I like our bet on turn. Next, pocket eights, open raise, two calls with huge stacks. And we hit a second pair. I prefer to play pot control with our hand, and I hope that Sportic does. Yeah, he decides to check. Next, nine of spades. We decide to check again, because our purpose in that situation is just to see the showdown as cheaper as possible. Again, queen. I don't think that we have a value bet here. We should check again, and really important spot for us. Ace jack suited, easy raise, king queen. I like our call here. We don't want and we don't need to 3-bet pre-flop versus chip leader, because our chips are really expensive and we don't want to spoil that situation by 3-betting. And on that structure we can just give up right now. We decide to call, maybe because of the bet size, but still we don't want to play difficult post-flop spots versus a chip leader, especially out of position. We only backdoors and that's all. Yeah, now we're giving up. So I think that we made a mistake on flop. It wasn't very expensive, but still, it was a mistake. Let's move on. Ace king off on the small blind, and we have almost 4 million chips, dead money, and I think we don't have any options except of 3-bet shove. Yeah, we shoved and get called. And again, again, we are winning versus kings and lucky ace for us. So we have a huge stack. Now we can play. Again, I like our call. We don't want to increase the pot size by 3-betting. Our hand plays post-flop perfectly. We called and we hit nothing. So we are checking behind because we don't want to bluff versus two opponents, especially because of their stack sizes. We hit a 9. He bets. Easy call for us. I don't think that we need to raise here. Our hand is too weak for a value raise. And 6 on the river. I think we can try to value bet at least weaker 9s, maybe some 8s and or something like that. So if I were Sportic, I would bet. I don't like our size, because if, for example, we're value betting versus 9, it would call anyway. I think 9 would call, especially because of his stack size, half of the pot, 75% of the pot. So I don't like our bet size. Oh, wow. Ace high called. Okay, versus S high, it was a good bet size, but still I would play in a little bit different way. We raised with queen 10 off, and we earned some chips. Easy call pre-flop because we have a suited queen. If, for example, you would have queen 7 off, we could just fold pre-flop versus two opponents. We are hitting the backdoors, but after that call, we cannot do anything and we have to fold right now. Yeah, I like it. Wow, what's he doing? Cool. Ace 10 off, we raise and get called by big blind. Should c-bet on such structure, and it was successful. Jack 7 off should be protected. We hit a second pair, easy call for us. Can we have a value bet here? I don't think so, because draws except of 10-9 missed. So if I were Sportic, I would check with the plan to bluff catch. But our opponent hit a showdown on the river, and that's why he decides not to bet. But I think that we would call on the river, so it doesn't matter really. King 6 off, not so bad for a 3-bet. Call is okay, but I would 3-bet probably with our stack size. We hit a gut shot, and on such structure I prefer to bet huge because we want him to fold with his ace highs, and that's why I don't like that bet size. faced with check raise, and now we're calling. I don't like our call because we are looking for a gut shot. We have not so many outs. We would be in trouble if we had a king. So I think that free raise in that structure would be better than call. Hit a 9, and now what? We cannot do anything. We have to fold. So probably we made a little mistake on flop. Pocket eights. Um, Decide to call again. We don't want to make our strategy dispersion one. We hit a second pair again, pot controlling, and ace is a perfect card for our opponent to bluff, but our chips are too expensive and we decide to make that spot cheaper for us. Moving on, ace king off, get called, very bad, and not so lucky. 7-4, we hit a second pair, yeah, easy call. Check, check. Can we make a melee? But here, I don't think so. So we want to bluff catch, but again, he doesn't want to bluff. King deal suited, call, some small squeeze, and I think we can call here. We decide to fold. I don't like it because we have a really huge stack size and we can afford ourselves to call here. So I don't like our fold after the overlimp. Raising with king 9, should c-bet here. Oh, c-bet works pretty well on that table. Again, we're folding. I don't like it really. With our hand, we can limp call. Ace 9 off. 8 again. Decide to check behind because of the flop structure, but I think that with our stack size we can c-bet on flop just because of the money pressure, because of the ICM. But we decide to check, delayed c-bet and fold. But we have given our opponent an opportunity to see the turn. It wasn't the best decision. Pocket nines, call again. I think that we can start 3-betting our hands. Check call with gut shot, and wow, we're calling on turn. Probably because of a huge amount of draws on flop, but by the way, we are blocking nutses. It's really important. We're blocking 10-9, queen on the river, and I wonder what would we do if, for example, he would bet the third barrel. Probably we would fold, but nothing changes really, and this queen decreases the possibility that our opponent has the top pair. And it was king 9 off. It would be interesting really. What if he would bet again on the river? Again, call. If we are talking about the previous examples with pocket 8s on a small blind, with pocket 9s, maybe those folds were not so bad. Calls, sorry. And that call is really bad because now we are a chip leader and we need to put pressure on the average stacks. And this call just provoking our opponents to get into that multi-way, I don't think that it is the best decision for our hand. Hit a top pair, easy call for us. Calling again, and we hit a straight. Wow, huge triple barrel bluff. So not so bad. Now we are a chip leader. I want to remind that it is a $5 buy-in tournament. Ace 8. I think we can call here. Maybe we can check it. Let's go to the IC miser. Here we are, calculating Nash equilibrium. And yeah, it is a profitable call. I think that maybe we can decrease it a little. And we need to check again. But still, we can call with ace 8 off. So, good call. and perfect flop. Playing 4 marks. Wow, I like our isolate because our hand is not so strong and we have to bet in the structure. And yeah, profitable c-bet for us. Ace Jack, decide to shove. It is unexploitable shove, so I like it. We don't want really to increase our opponent ranges, but we can check 2 decisions and we can pick which decision would be more profitable. I mean, first open shove, and we are earning 0.10% of the price pool. And let's say that we are raising and face with all in, for example, from a big blind. And we can see that we're earning much more. So it were more profitable just to raise pre-flop. But still, open shove was pretty good. A7 suited, should c-bet, get called. Almost blank cards. I like our size, because probably he is not so strong opponent and we want to get chips from him, but bad luck. Ace-8 off suited, decide to 3-bet. Yeah, at least now we started 3-betting and we started using our stack size. But we faced with 4-bet shove, have to give up. King 10 off, 2 pairs, decide to pot control and awful turn. We just and awful river, so we just have to fold. Okay, King 6 self-suited. We are attacking his limping range, and I like it because we need to put pressure on him because we can, because of our stack size. I think on the river we can have a slight value bet. We decide to check and wow, King 8. Lucky check for us. King Queen off. In that situation we could profitably 3-bet shove, but we decide to call. Okay, it were an option, but I would better shove here. We hit nothing and had to give up. We are taking almost his every limp. And we're betting a lot. Check, check. And now we need to continue our aggression because this board is really coordinated. And we can make him fold in his queen, his jack, and probably jack 10 off too. So I don't like that we checked on the river. Open shove, yeah. King deuce off. Yeah, 3-bet it, okay. Pocket sevens. I think we should call here because of our stack size. Let's check it. It is 38 hand. Pocket sevens. We need to check his shoving range. He's the shortest stack on that final table. And yeah, I'm sure that he would shove with such hands. So yeah, pocket sevens is a profitable call. And 3 max. We're playing 3 max. Ace 9 off. Decide just to shove. Wow, and we get called. Let's check it again. Can we shove here? Ace 9 off. Yeah, look at our open shove range. We can profitably shove here almost 66% of hands just because it is ICM situation and we're putting a ton of pressure on our opponent. Yeah, so our shove was pretty good and ace from space on the river, and it was like a cooler because I don't think that he can in any situation fold with pocket sevens in that situation. But let's check it. Let's imagine that we were on a big blind. So with pocket sevens, yeah, we have to call. We're earning too much money by calling with sevens, so bad luck. And there are only 20 hands of heads up, so let's look at it. Let's look at how it happens. King 9, decide to c-bet. Okay. Pretty good lead on turn from our opponent. I like it really. So we cannot do anything versus it because of the repeating of 6 on turn. King 4, call pre-flop, should be call. Check, check, and we decide to provoke him because he is really aggressive one, but he checked again. He just gave up for 6 off. Decide to c-bet, obvious, okay, a3. We cannot call versus 3 bets with low offsuited aces because it would be difficult for us to play post-flop with such hands. Value bet, c-bet, and we are betting on jack on turn. I'm not sure that we can have 3 streets of value here, so we had an option to check and to play pot control, but we decided to bet, and we have won that pot. Value bet again, but unlucky for us. Unlucky spot for us. A3, raise again. As you can see, we're raising almost his every limp again. It doesn't matter are we playing 4 bucks or are we playing in heads up. And by the way, okay, let's continue watching. Wow, let's look again. We isolated pre-flop, check call, check raise. What are we saying to him? What hand should we have? Pair, overpair, I mean. Probably, but we are representing not so many hands, so I don't like our decision here. And we have to shove right now because of our check raise on turn. If we would give up, it would be the awful hand. And wow, not so bad. We are putting as much pressure as possible, and our opponent falls. Cool. But still, I'm not sure about the turns check raise. But I have a gut shot, at least, and an overcard. We decided just to shove with kings. I think that it is an option, because we would shove really many hands, a lot of offsuited aces, a lot of weak pairs. So yeah, not so bad. 9-6 should be c-bet, call, check, check. I like our check on turn because we don't want to spoil our equity by betting and facing with check raise. 7-3 off. Okay. A6, we're putting pressure on him. Yeah, I like our shove because now we are playing in a GPV situation because we have guaranteed ourselves the prize for the second place. And if, for example, it's not so obvious for you that we are playing in GPV, then you can just go to my educational course. Just hit the link in the description to do it, and we'll talk about it in a personal way. But let's continue watching. Unlucky, but still we have really huge stack. 9-7, continue playing heads up, king 7. Wow, quads from flop. Check, check. We're provoking him to bluff, but probably he had a showdown. No, he was empty. Jack 5, okay. Jack 5 suited, okay. Side to call. Check call again. Should check call again, but our opponent gave up. It's a question, can we have a value bet here? Yeah, I think yes, we can bet. And yeah, sporting bets, I like it. And get called from king high. Second perfect value bet. First it was versus ace high, if you remember, and second versus king high. Betting on flop, called, bet again. Look how aggressive Sportic is, especially because of his stack size. Next hand, king queen, called, easy call for us. Check call again. We shoved. I think that shove was pretty well just because we have a ton of equity and we are pushing for value, but who knows that he were bluffing. Yeah. Second hand, a6. It's obvious we should call in GPV stage. Bad river for us. And the next hand, Queen 7. We just shoved for 19 big blinds. Let's check it by the way. This one. And yeah, close to 0, but still we can shove our hand. And congratulations, we have won that tournament for more than $2K. So that's all for today. I wanted to say, if you like that video, then like it, subscribe our YouTube channel, tap the bell, also follow us in Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and see you in next videos.